intelligence
Alfred, do
civilization
you
on Mars.
believe the American public, just as an example, the public in the world at large, can deal with this information?
Yes, and you know, we have objective data for that. If we go to the 2002 Roper report, which is available on the internet, there was a specific question that asked in that way. And the answer came back at 85% of the American public, and by extension, I would imagine most adult publics, are congruent in terms of their religion, their personal values. The question was, if the government announced that there was an extraterrestrial presence, how would this impact you? And the answer was 85%. It's congruent with my religion, with my personal values, and it would not ruffle any of those very much. So we say that time is now, the place is Mars. Now, will the US do it? They may not, because in certain ways, according to certain military plans or intelligence plans, possible, the US base on Mars or bases on Mars may be considered one of the most strategic and important as a gateway to occupying the solar system via teleportation.
I'd just like to say, Alfred, for the benefit of the cameras here and for anyone here who doesn't know this story, that Henry Deacon, who is here at this conference and who was here in this room, and I can't see him right now, is he there?
No, he stepped out.
He stepped out. He's just coming in. Here he is.
Here's a chair for you. Oh, so sorry.
But we can talk about his testimony because it's already on the Camelot site. And he supports this fully, as best as I'm aware. The Mars base has got a peak population of 670,000. They travel there.
Give or take.
Give or take a few. You know, it depends on what you call human or what you don't. They look like us, pretty much. People can commute from this planet.
They're known as the Anunnaki. That's the name they go by.
Some of them are. Some of them are the Anunnaki of old, the same ones that Sitchin talked about, who are now in a couple of factions. But there's a wide range of races, basically who all look like humans, just as we do. And the travel is through, essentially, it's teleportation. And this is one of the biggest secrets. And there's got this huge base there, which is a multifunctional base.
Okay, but we are allowing the panel to talk here.
Exactly, but this is important information to put on camera.
It is.
And we're just wanting to support you, and we also want to support Andrew Bajago, who we also know, by saying that the guy's not crazy. We've got somebody here in this room who can support this story. He doesn't want to go on camera, but he can speak to the microphone if he wants to.
Okay, what about some of the other panelists here? What is your point of view of disclosure?
First of all, what you're saying is probable, Alfred, because I will say this now, but I will also disagree as far as going to the public with grade 12 when we haven't done grade 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 of disclosure yet. Because for me as a teacher, and this is teaching the public, because they may be able to assimilate this information, but it's hard to digest. It changed my whole entire life. When I met Hynek, it took a long time for me to understand that contact was real. I didn't want to believe that. I was nuts and bolts ufologist. I wanted to look at the craft, the sightings. I did not want to go to the contact part. That was very hard for me because it changed reality. So I disagree with saying that the general public could swallow this very easily. But I will support Alfred in this way. I did do an interview with Pier Giorgio Igina, who was Marconi's partner. And while I was doing that, he mentioned that Marconi, with the Vatican, had Martian contact in 1939. And I knew this material. I did not put it out there because the implications of the Vatican with Marconi and extraterrestrials is very heavy. But I will talk about it today. I'm not sure that the general public can go there if they haven't understood the nature of Roswell, the nature of the cover-up, the nature of visitation due to maybe our use of nuclear, and the fact that all aliens are not grays. These are things that we need to get straightened away, because I can tell you from having lived in Europe, where aliens look like us, and Pleiadians, Billy Meyer, I met Billy Meyer, that there are people in the universe that look like us, and then I go to move to America, and on every single magnet, t-shirt, magazine, and everything, I see only the stamp of the gray being, and that is where they want us to remain in America, because if you believe that these extraterrestrials could be, and the Martians are some of them that look like us, if you believe that, then it becomes very dangerous. As Colonel Corso said, we weren't afraid of the extraterrestrial biological entities, he said at the Pentagon, because they were extraterrestrial biological entities. We were definitely afraid of their creators that could be walking in the halls of the Pentagon. So this is very complex. I'm not sure the general public, the whole world, and everybody needs to have the whole entire thing in one big swallow, because it's very difficult to digest.
Yeah. Thank you, Paola. I want to bring in Brian here because I have a sneaking idea that I know what he's going to say if I ask him this question, which is, have we got time to be precious about this disclosure issue? Do we have time on planet Earth, do you believe?
Well, we're obviously at a huge crossroads here, and I'm aware of the psychological implications of a grieving process that's going on right now, that we're grieving an old paradigm and transforming to a new. And Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, in some of her work, talks about the phases of grief, and that we've been in this state of mass denial always being the first stage. The second stage is usually anger. I had this bumper sticker for a while that said, "The truth will set us free, but first it will piss you off." And I think that we're poised on that. People are getting very angry and outraged by these cover-ups. And so there has to be a process that maybe we can help engineer. And I know, Steve, you've been involved in this, of creating some sort of negotiating where the transition isn't too painful for any particular group, and that we can get out of the swamp you referred to, Bill, that the swamp of deceit and lies and spin, that we're, I think, in a situation now where maybe we can discuss with our, quote, adversaries. Obviously, the darkest agendas we hear about, like eugenics and so forth, are horrible, and we don't have to do that. I'd like to be able to discuss that openly with the rest of the world, or even with those individuals who are in charge, to be able to say, well, maybe we can do something else. Maybe we can have a world with free energy. Maybe we can support the current population. Maybe we can make the contact experience a positive thing for all of us. And that is the direction I'd like to see us go in, rather than coming out of fear, come out of a sense of diplomacy and understanding all around.
That's a great bridge into the potential role of exopolitics. And I wonder who wants to pick up that ball.
Can I say something?
Rob.
There are great research. You're all great researchers sitting on this table, and it's doubtlessly so interesting listening to all of the insider stories and all of the testimony. But what you just said actually means that we need to find a way to, and Paola said that too, we need to find a way to prepare, to prepare the understanding of the whole thing. We need to make people aware that we are not looking at something like at a bottle, like I'm outside the bottle, I'm looking at the bottle, and after 5 minutes I will have looked at it from any perspective possible, and I will have understood it entirely. No, it's the opposite. We are on this tiny little planet, we're looking outwards. That means that anything's possible in the universe. So that is, I think that's the paradigm thing that we have to prepare. Now, how do we do that?